Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a mind-bending alternate history scenario. What if the two greatest rivals of the modern era, the United States and Russia, decided to bury the hatchet and form an alliance? Not just a treaty, but a full-blown union. What would this new superpower, let's call it the Russo-American Federation, look like? How would it reshape the world as we know it? Let's explore the most powerful alliance in history. First, let's talk about the sheer scale of this new entity. Geographically, it would be colossal. Russia is already the largest country by landmass, spanning 11 time zones. Add the United States, the third, and you have a nation that stretches from the Arctic Circle to the tropics, from Eastern Europe to the Pacific shores of California. This new federation would control a staggering portion of the Earth's land, a territory rich in every conceivable natural resource: oil, natural gas, precious metals, timber, and vast agricultural lands. Imagine a single country being the world's top producer of both oil and natural gas. The economic leverage from this alone would be immense, giving it the power to dictate global energy prices and policies. Speaking of the economy, the combined GDP would be astronomical. The US already has the world's largest economy, and while Russia's is smaller, its resource wealth is a massive asset. Together, they would control over 30% of the global economy, maybe even more depending on how they see. This economic powerhouse could fund projects on a scale we've never seen before. Think continent-spanning high-speed rail networks, massive investments in space exploration, maybe even a joint mission to Mars, technological research that could solve some of humanity's biggest problems, from climate change to disease. Wall Street and the Moscow Exchange would merge, creating a financial center of unparalleled influence. Now, for the part that probably has everyone on edge, the military. The United States and Russia possess the world's two largest nuclear arsenals. Combined, they would control over 90% of all nuclear weapons on the planet. This fact alone creates a new kind of global security paradigm. The concept of mutually assured destruction, which kept the Cold War from turning hot, would now be concentrated in a single entity. No nation, or even a coalition of nations, could ever hope to challenge the Russo-American Federation in a conventional or nuclear war. Their combined military would have the most advanced technology from the US and the battle-hardened experience and sheer numbers of the Russian forces. From aircraft carriers to hypersonic missiles, their arsenal would be untouched. This could usher in an era of unprecedented global peace, a Pax Russo-Americana, where major wars become a thing of the past simply because no one would dare to start one. But here's the flip side. Could such overwhelming power be trusted? This is where the story gets darker. A union this powerful could easily become a global hegemon, a single entity dominating the entire planet. Other major powers, like China and the European Union, would face a stark choice: aligned with the new federation and accept a secondary role, or form a counter-alliance in a desperate bid to maintain some semblance of a balance of power. This could lead to a new, even more tense Cold War, with the world divided into two distinct blocks. The Russo-American Federation might see any independent action by other countries as a threat, leading to an oppressive international environment where dissent is crushed. Freedom and national sovereignty could become relics of the past. The world would watch in a state of suspended animation, waiting to see if this new union would be a benevolent guardian or a tyrannical overlord. And what about the internal dynamics of this new nation. Could two societies with such different histories, cultures, and political systems truly merge? The US is a relatively young, multicultural democracy built on ideals of individual liberty. Russia is an ancient nation with a long history of centralized, autocratic rule. How do you reconcile these two identities? Would the new government be a federal democracy, or would it slowly drift towards a more authoritarian model? Think about the cultural clashes. You'd have Hollywood and the Bolshoi Ballet, Silicon Valley and the Siberian wilderness, all under one flag. While this could lead to an incredible cultural renaissance, a fusion of art, music, and ideas, it could also lead to deep social fractures. There would be language barriers, political disagreements, and historical grievances to overcome. Would citizens of this new federation see each other as countrymen, or would they cling to their old identities as Americans and Russians, leading to internal strife and instability? Let's imagine the political structure for a moment. A co-presidency, perhaps a rotating capital between Washington, D.C. and Moscow. The legal system would be a nightmare to integrate. The U.S. common law system and Russia's civil law system are fundamentally different. The Bill of Rights would have to be reconciled with a completely different tradition of state power and individual rights. Resolving these issues would take generations and could be a source of constant conflict. Perhaps the Union would be a looser confederation, allowing each side to maintain its own internal laws and customs. But even then, the question of ultimate authority would always linger. Let's also consider the global reaction. Nations that were formerly allies of the US, like the UK, Japan, or South Korea, would suddenly find themselves in a very precarious position. Their security guarantees would now be tied to the whims of this new, unpredictable superpower. Would the Federation honor old treaties, or would it forge a new path, leaving its former allies to fend for themselves? This uncertainty could trigger a global arms race as countries scramble to build up their own defenses in a world where the old rules no longer apply. The United Nations would be completely transformed, with the two most powerful members of the Security Council now united. The US and Russia could pass any resolution they wanted, effectively giving them complete control over international law. So, would this union save humanity or doom it? On one hand, the potential for good is enormous. The combined scientific and economic might of the US and Russia could tackle climate change, fund clean energy projects on a global scale, and lead a new era of space exploration. A world without the threat of a great power war could allow humanity to focus on common goals. But on the other hand, the concentration of so much power in one place is a terrifying prospect. As the old saying goes, absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. A Russo-American federation could become a global empire, imposing its will on the rest of the world and extinguishing the flame of national independence and individual freedom. It's a chilling question. Could such power truly bring peace? Or would it create a new, more terrifying form of global domination? The world would be holding its breath, waiting to see which path this titan would choose. It's a fascinating and frankly a scary thought experiment. What do you think would happen? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the what ifs of our world.